Amir.
Oh,
Buddy.
oh God.
How are you?
I'm good.
What are you working on today?
Lexus, an ES300.
What you got in there?
Goodies. Brand new suspension, that's right.
Good.
It's fun.
Amir and I tried to get a passenger CV axle out of his Lexus a few weeks ago on a weekend at home.
The most important part that we're replacing.
Yeah, and it would not budge. It was so rusted in there. It's a really stupid design where the whole carrier bearing and the motor mount is part of one assembly. So if you can't get the axle out, you can't get any of it out. So he's replacing all of it and doing suspension while he's here today. I'm trying to quiz and stump Amir because I just told him that I bought a non-US standard part for my car off of eBay and shipped it from overseas. And he's currently walking around the car trying to look for it. I'm way too excited about this part than I should be for what it is, because I'll tell you right now, Amir, I won't tell you where it is, but it's just a piece of plastic, and it's not the honeycomb grill. It's a big piece of plastic.
Front splitter, bumper.
It is lower, but it's not front.
Grill?
Nope.
No grill.
Grill is still on the front.
Do I need to bend over?
Yes,
Is it like under body splash shield?
it is.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Is it underneath here?
Uh-huh.
Is it a diffuser for?
You want to see it? That right there, that big plastic tray, never came on an OEM US domestic market car because they all had spare tires there. But I deleted my spare tire and I didn't know that part existed, but hi. I went to realoem.com and I discovered that UK cars, not all of them came with spare tires, so they just had that aerodynamic piece of trim there. And I ordered one from eBay and had it shipped overseas. This is what that tray looks like that I was telling you about earlier. It's just a piece of plastic. There's not even anything in it. It just takes up the space that the spare tire would take up. And I took it out. And now I don't have that big gaping void that catches air in the bumper back here. So, yeah, factory aero, which means it's legal for the Sunday Cup, even though it came from a different country and was never put on any cars in the US. But the rulebook doesn't say anything about that. So, factory aero. There you go. Part of the reason I've been slightly hesitant to put the coilovers on so far, not the full reason, but something I've had in the back of my mind is I really like the way the OEM suspension feels. It's got a lot of personality and it's comfortable with small 15-inch wheels and tall tires. But I want to show you this one thing. The suspension right now is OEM struts with white line lowering springs, which are surprisingly comfortable at a lower ride height. But these strut mounts are only about 15,000 miles old, but they already make the same squeaky, crunchy noise that the old ones did when I replaced them when I did the transmission swap. And I've only put 15,000 miles on it since then, so let it be known, even though the factory OEM Lemforder strut mounts are the right part to put on the car, if you have factory suspension with really sticky, like 200 treadwear tires, and you take it to the track a lot, you're going to wear through them because they're already, you can tell by the level that they sit at in the car when it's on the ground, they're already bumped up and protrude out of the strut tower. So even though they were new, I tore through them because the tires are so sticky, it puts so much load on them. We're going to go to a solid mount on the top because the coilover doesn't have a rubber bushing. It just has a solid plate. Just like that.
Yay!
All right.
Woo!
This is from left. Yes. Okay.
And show me the L.
L.
Fancy. Oh no, it didn't get it in focus.
That's okay.
It moved too fast.
These are BC Racing BR Series coilovers from Collin Greene at Greene Performance. I went with him and chose these because I have BC coils on my other car and I really like them. And I went through Collin because he gives me really great advice, and he custom made these for me. They're a 10K up front and an 8K in the rear. They have custom valving for specifically track use, and he makes his own camber caster plates. So I have adjustability this way and this way, and I'm really excited for that. Just over 14 pounds. I think this would be slightly lighter. Well, maybe significantly lighter. 11. Cool. So, 3 pounds a quarter. If you factor in the trailing arms that I already did, those are 5 pounds lighter a side. So at the rear, per corner, we're losing 8 pounds. Actually, I don't know what the difference in the rear is, but in the fronts, 3 pounds a corner.
I think it's supposed to be a 9, but it's really dim.
Yeah, it is. Okay, 10 pounds. I'm a really bad judge for that. £8. On the rear coilovers, this piece right here actually goes up through the body and into the trunk area, so I can remotely adjust the stiffness of the shock with that little knob there. I think there must have been a miscommunication, because I thought I bought track day coilovers, and I've actually received the most comfortable road tripping coilovers that I could have asked for. I am seriously astonished by how comfortable this suspension is. I've got it set to 20 or 25 out of 30 on the shocks, and with the tall, squishy tires, I'm going to be totally comfortable road tripping in this thing. I'm just absolutely amazed. And having owned other BC Racing coilovers in the past on another Mini just like this, I can tell you there is a world of difference between the out-of-the-box setup that they send you with their black BC coil springs and the Swift springs with custom valving. Because again, these coilovers are so comfortable and so capable. They handle really well. I've actually got my sway bars set to the middle setting at the back, and since I've got 10K in the front, 8K in the back, the springs are naturally a bit more front biased. So the car is less oversteery, and it's actually completely neutral. It's really intuitive. So I've gotten the corner balance and alignment almost right where I want it. There's lots of immediate turn-in response. It keeps gripping and keeps gripping as far as I turn it in. I'm really happy with it. My my track day at Gingerman Raceway in Michigan is coming up in 2 weeks, so it's crunch time, but I'll be ready.